Okay, good evening. This is today's daf is a short daf. I can't say it's an easy daf, but it's about birds. It's for the birds. The this told us clearly, if you look back at the Mishnah, the Mishnah had told us that the simonim of a the simonim of a behema, that it says in the Torah what the simonim of a behema are, right? And doesn't even say it because it's so well known. So the siman of a behema doesn't even tell us, doesn't bother. Nemru b'Torah. Simane oif loy nemru. The simane oif it doesn't tell us. Aval omer chachamim kol oif hadoiris tame. Kol sheyesh le etzba yisera. Anyone that has an extra finger, the zefik it has a crop. The korkovanai niklaf, and its korkovin, the gizzard is peeled, the membrane is peelable. Tahar. So we're told that even though the Chachamim told us that they have these simanim. So very interesting enough. These simanim are not stated anywhere. These simanim, they did an analysis of the birds. Now we Bemis guys, there are only 24 birds up the feed. There are only 24 birds. Now in that 24 birds, there are subcategories. Just off the top of my head, the crow and the raven are the same bird. You know, you call one a crow, you call one a raven, but they're in the same family. They're in the same family. And the Sichas Chulin went out of this way to tell us that BMS, that we don't even know the names of these birds. And the problem is the 24 birds mentioned. First of all, I'm going to read to you. There's 20 in Parshas Shmini. There's one in Parshas Re'eh. And there we say where it says Lemino, Mino, Leminehu, that's in other three. So we have 24. That's the Gemara Vaita. So BMS, we have 24 birds that you can't eat. Now, these 24 birds do not all have the four simanim. Now, the four simanim are doiris. Doiris. It does not have the extra the extra leg. It's korkevin. I meant that. Thank you for listening. I meant that. No, I meant that. I didn't mean extra leg. Extra leg would obviously be a treifa based upon Avhuna. What's the halacha? I use this kanadal dummy. Okay, thank you for correcting me. I appreciate it. I meant the little. I'm spending too much time on this. I meant the etzba. Okay, so, what? So the etzba. And the curcumin was not nickel, and it doesn't have a crop. So these 24 birds, because this is like a little overview of the share. These 24 birds, only one of them has all four, or lacking all four. Only one of them is diris. Only one of them doesn't have a crop. Only one of them it doesn't have a curcumin and nickel, and only one of them does not have an etzbi seira. Only one. All the other birds, the 24, as we're going to see, have some and the others. The problem is we don't know any of these birds. Therefore, as we're going to see in the next few days, the only way you can eat a bird is based upon Messiah. Even though the majority of the birds are kosher in the world. It says the oif tahira ain't mispar. The amount of kosher birds is like infinitesimal. However, since we don't know those 24 birds, we don't even know what the nesher is. We teach a nesher is an eagle. We teach a nesher is an eagle. But we'll see a Tosfos. Let's see the Tosfos now. Why not? It's interesting.
Okay, Lenny.
Right. Lenny, we got a Philadelphia eagle mark, an eagle mark. A comment, just for the record. He's not smiling, by the way.
Inside, I'm smiling.
Okay, so it seems that if you look on Pesamich Gimel Amid Aleph, Tosfos, the last Tosfos on the page. So before today's shir, if I would ask you what a nesher is, Samech Gimel Amid Aleph. If I would ask you, but you say it was an eagle. That's what you say it's an eagle. So here, the Gemara we're going to get to, Bez Hashem, is discussing the birds. So Nates, Pirish Bekuntris, Aspra. It's not an osprey. I thought so. It's not. It's some type of hawk. The EF shalom came. The hanates who might. Now a mite is a type of bird of prey. Oifais ve'enoi dorsim, and they're not doris. Kid pirish as we see. The chazin and the ashbroy doris, we see the ashbroy does. So obviously Taisvis understood at this point in time they knew what that bird was. Now ben the pirish for ben tam. Shaloikira oif oich le'mechaim. We'll see. Going to see tonight what doris means. Now gabi nesha shikorin igla. Right? Kain toyin gabi nesha shikorin igla. A nesha that's called an eagle. Ve'enoi. It's not true. The nesha yeshla dalit simone tuma. The igla yeshla etzbi yisera. And the eagle only has that extra finger. So it only has 3. So it can't be what? It can't be the eagle. The nesha is the one that has what? All 4. The nesha is the one that has all 4. V'chein oimed the kari hu kuku balaz. It's called a cuckoo. So again, it is fascinating all the terms that we're familiar with, but we're clueless. So even the nesha, there's a machlokes by the nesha. This is Taisus Shita, but to be aware, now there's a very interesting opinion. This is Moshe Yehuda Stern. He gave this. It says that I'll carry you on the wings of an eagle. Right now, Kafei Nisharim, and now if it's not an eagle, what is it? So there's an opinion, it's a condor. Moshe tells me that the Andorian condor has the largest wingspan of any bird in the world. So yeah, I can't feel the sharm. So that would make sense, right? If you're going to go on the sharm, you should have what? But a vulture, a condor is a vulture. It's not such a geschmack looking bird, so you know. What? Yeah.
He says he hasn't one that's going to be all campaign sharp.
Okay, so now you can really now stare him. Stare. No, stare him. I don't see him that often. You should stare him. Okay, so again, as an introduction to the shir, basically what I'm telling you is we know nothing. That's really what it is. We don't know anything. But what we think we know is not true, right? But again, what you have to know is so the parsha is in Shmini, and in Shmini it gives us 20 birds. So here's I'll read from you parsha Shmini. Okay, kol asher the es'ela tishaksu min ha'oif lo ya'achlu sheketz heim. It's a disgusting for you. It's an abomination for you. The nesher, the peretz, and ozniya. Now the nesher and the peretz ozniya, these are the ones that have the most simone tuma. In other words, the nesher has all 4. The peretz ozniya have 3 of them, but they have one that's kosher. This is all based upon the daf. I have no idea what the peretz ozniya is. That's hadav es ayol lemina oyrev lemineu basyana tachmas shachaf neitz kois shalach yanshuf tinshames hakah rocham chasida hanafa tuchifas ves atalif. The talif they say is a bat. Over here it seems it's a bird. Actually, just move over a little bit because you're just in that's I know, but it's so few people here. I should be able to see you. You like how she said? Get a life. Anyway, so these are 20, and I told you there's another one listed in Re'eh, and we're remember a few more. So that's tomorrow's daf. But basically, today's daf is about the simonim. You like more about the hesh besides the see. Anyway,
we couldn't hear that before. But Hesh move on.
Okay, says the at the beginning and the bottom of Samech on the base. Simona oif le nemru. It doesn't say simoni oif. It doesn't say veloi v'atanya nesher amid aleph Samech aleph amid aleph. Ma nesher miyuchad. The nesher is unique. She'ein loy etzba yisera. It does not have the extra finger. The zefek, it does not have a zefek, that storage tank, the crap. There's kurkonoi niklaf. And the ain kurkfanoi niklaf. It's kurkovin is not niklaf. The doiris, and it's doiris for eichel tamei. Av kol kayotze tamei. So to anything that has all those 4 are tamei. What happens if it doesn't have the 4? It only has 3. Then it's tar. And the reason why the Torah lists those 24, because those 20, it has to tell me. Since, guys, you hear this limit. Guys, listen to the limit. In order to be an oif tamei, you need all 4. Lacking any one of the 4, you're tahar. Therefore, you had to tell me those 24 because they lack all four. And they would be tahar unless the Torah tells me not. Again, if the source, using baseball terms, in order to be tummy, you got to be 4 for 4. You have to be 4 for 4. If you're 3 for 4, 2 for 4, 1 for 4, you're tahar, right? So and all those and so therefore every bird that's not 4 for 4 is tahar. Those 24 birds, many are, but 20 of them are 1 for 4, right? One of them is 2 for 4, and one of them is 3 for, and two of them is 3 for 4. But you had to, the fact that you had to pick these out and uniquely say these are tameh, right, tells me that anything else is tahar. And that's the limit. And that's the limit over here. Now, what does doiris mean? What does doiris mean? Let's see Taisvis. Third Taisvis down. Hadoiris, pirish bekuntris, she'oiches bitzi parnov. It holds down with its talons. Umagbia min akarka mash'oichel, and it picks up from the ground what it eats. Okay, and a makbia min akarka mash'oichel. The kashal renotam. The afilu tani goylis asakain. Even a chicken does that. And a chicken certainly is not what? A doiris. So, again, if we couldn't eat chicken, we'd be a saris. Doiris v'oichel mechayim. Ve'enu mamtim lo yat shetamas. It eats it while it's alive, and it doesn't wait for it to die. Ki ahidi perek eloivim. So that's the machloikas Rashi and Taisus. According to Rashi, doiris is, it's dorsa, guys. It's doras. It pushes it down, and it picks it up to eat it. According to Taisus, it eats it when it's still alive. Birds of prey are very cruel. They're very, very cruel. They're very cruel. There's birds of prey. They fly underneath another bird. They fly with their backs to the ground, and with their claws they get the underside of the bird while flying. It's amazing. They really. And these eagles. I mean, there's an eagle called the harpy eagle. It lives in South America in the rainforest. It lifts up monkeys. Could lift up a sheep. It's like huge talons, huge birds. And you ever see the people? They always wear leather over here. And they hold the birds. Falconry. This the fastest bird in the world. Fastest in the animal kingdom is the peregrine falcon. It could dive at over 240 miles an hour. And it dives very quickly, and like a bullet, it hits its prey. Right? Falconry is a sport. It's a sport. But again, these are birds of prey. They're very, very cruel. So doiris is certainly is simani tuma. So right now, where are we holding that in order to be a knife tameh 4 for 4, in order to be knife tameh 4 for 4, you have to be a knife tameh. Okay. So now, in order to be a knife tameh, you need to be 4 for 4. You need all those 4 siman. Tyrin, sheyesh len etzba yisera, v'sefek, and it has a crop. V'kurkivin niklif, v'ein darsin, v'oichlin tyrin. Av kol kiyotz men tyrin. So what's the kasha? How can the Mishnah say that you don't know the simanim mat of birds? I gave you the simanim knife tameh, and I gave you the simanim knife tar. Basically the same siman, guys, right? The ones that have it are tahar. The ones that don't have, right? It's the inverse. It's the inverse. So it's a kasha. You put a question mark. It's kasha. It's a kasha. And for the Gemara, Amar Abaya, when the Mishnah said you don't have simanim, lo'inemru perushim midivrei Torah ela midivrei seifrim. We needed the seifrim to go ahead and tell us what they are. The MS, as opposed to the Torah that gives us the simanim of a behema, simanim of grasshoppers, simanim of fish, right? They give simanim. The only one that we can eat that we don't have simanim is the birds. The birds. So therefore, that's what when Mishnah meant that they didn't give us simanim. It's not stated in the Torah, but those are the simanim. Okay. So getting back, so 4 for 4. If you're 3 for 4, 2 for 4, 1 for 4, you're what? You could eat it, unless you're what? Unless you wanted a 24. Tani Reb Chia. Oif haba b'siman echad tar. A knife that has one of the simanim chashas. It's what? It's 1 for 4. It's lacking the other 3. It's tar. If we shein doimel nesher, because it's not sama, right? To nesher. Nesha the less like klal hu the loy seichel. The nesha that's 0 for 4, right? Or and the way we're learning is 4 for 4, right? The nesha that has all 4 you shouldn't eat. Ha'ika the is lechad teichel, right? The one that has 1 you could eat. So as long as you went for 4, you could eat it. Fred the Gemara v'leilif mitayrin. Why do you learn out from nesha to what you could eat? Learn out from Tyron and say, Ma Tyron dika kulu, you need all 4. Af hachanami adika kulu arba, you need all 4 simanim. Again, you'd have to have that it's not diris, you'd have to have that the kurkumin's niklif, you have to have what that it's, yeah, you have to have the simanim that what that it has a zefek and has a etzbiyasera. In other words, if you learn it that way, that's a tremendous chumrah. If you're learning it from nesher, it's a tremendous kula. If you're learning from that, that means you would need all 4. So, and Cain, shar oifis tameim the kasrach manalamani. Fellas, why would it be necessary to list those 24? In other words, if in order to be kosher, you need those 4 simanim of kashrus, those birds listed, don't have, some of them have some of them, but none of them have all of them. By the fact we stated them, what's pshat? The fact we stated them is that what? Because if you're not 4 for 4, you could eat. And therefore, and those aren't 4 for 4. Those are 3 for 4, 2 for 4, 1, and 20 of them are 1 for 4. And therefore, you had to tell me, since 1 for 4, normally you could eat, you had to tell me those 2 you can't eat. By the fact that you spelled out over there you can't eat is a raya. If you're not from those one of those 24, you could. Again, that's the limud. Right? Fred the Gemara, v'neilif minayu from the 24. Mahasam tilsa, you have 3 kosher signs v'lo yachlinon. Av kol tilsa v'lo nechal. In other words, you should need 4 simoni kashrus. Since the 24, some have 3 of the sonim, they're still not kosher. Guys, let's look at the 24. Good? The only one of the 24 that has all 4 negatives is the nesher. Some of them, really only 2 of them, the Paris Vazniya, some of them have 3 of the simonim of kashrus. 20 of them have 3 of simonim. 20 of them. So let's learn from there. Let's learn Neilafinayu that you need at least 3. In other words, let's learn from there that you need at least 3. Good. On that, the Gemara answers, Mahasim tilsa v'lo yachlinon, af kol tilsa v'lo nechal, v'kol shkein trei v'chad. If it has 3 of simonim, right? In other words, if it has v'nel v'inayu, mahasam tilsa v'lo yachlinon, that has 3 kosher signs, so you don't need it. Af kol tilsa, so to anything that has 3 kosher signs, v'lo nechal, right? V'kol shkein trei, certainly what? One that has 2 you can't eat, v'chad, and one that only has 1 you can't eat. So guys, if you go, we're counting 4 for 4 means you have 4. So let's say you have 1. I only have 1. In other words, I'll learn that I have over there 20 birds. 20 of those birds have, I would say that they have 3. In other words, in order to eat, you would need 3. Now, in order to eat, you need 3 of them. What happens if you have a bird that only has 2 of them? So why would you have to list it? Madach, for you need to eat, you would need 3, right? If it would be no necessary to list 2. So for the Gemara and for the Gemara Cain, if that's the case, Oirev, the Kasrach Manalamli, why would you have to write Oirev? Because the Oirev only has 2. The raven only has 2 of the simanim. So if 3 simanim are no good, 2 certainly is no good. Says Hashta the Islay Tilsalay Achlina, one that has 3 simanim you can't eat. The Islay Trey me boy, would you have to tell me what 2? Obviously not. Okay, so Fred Gemara Valelif me Oirev, Mahasam Trey Loi, Af Kol Trey Loi. In other words, anything that has 2, right? Anything that has 2, but you're telling me if you, as long as you have 1, you're good. I can question that. I could say that 1 second, maybe you need 2, and not 1. Why? Because it says Oirev. In Cain, Peretz Vazniya the Kasrach Manalamali. Why would you have to write Peretz Vazniya? Guys, if 2 for 4 is no good, certainly 3 for 4 is no good. If 2 for 4, the Oirev is 2 for 4 is no good, the Peretz Vazniya, which 3 for 4, meaning it only has 1 of the simanim. It has 3 simanim tarfis. So why would you have to write it? Ella must be that what? That it is good. You can't learn from Moirev, and you're learning from Nesher, just like Nesher 4 not, but anything less 3 is good. So adin, anything else. Okay. Says the Gemara, Hashda this lay trey loyachlina, this lay chad mi boy. Fragma v'nigma mi peretz v'zniya. So learn out from peretz v'zniya that one siman would not be kosher. In other words, if you would need 3, but one. If you only have one siman, it wouldn't be kosher. The peretz v'zniya only has one siman, right? So I'd say if you're 3 for 4, right? If 3 for 4, one for, if you have 1 for 4, you're good. 2 for 4, you're good. But 3 for 4, I'd say no. Says the Gemara, "Imkein nesha the kasrachman lamali hashta the is." No, you don't have to write nesha. Hashta the isle chad loy achlina and the lesle klami boy. If you have, I went the wrong direction. I should have started going down. Okay, but either way, in other words, if 3 for 4 is no good, then certainly 4 for 4 is no good, right? If 3 for 4 is no good, then certainly 4 for 4 is no good. Ella nesha the lesle klal hu the loy sachal had the isle chad achol. The kasrachman nesha. The reason why, if you have one siman that's good, is because the only thing that's tamei completely is the nesher and the 24 that's listed. Halav hachi, havamina leilif mi peres vazniya. In other words, without nesher going 4 for 4, I would have learned out from peres vazniya. You need 3 out of 4. In other words, you would need at least three simani tyra, guys. You need 3 simani. You need 3 simani. Not no. Peretz Vazniya only has one of the simanim. So yeah, so I would say you right. I'd say you need only 1 would be good, but 3 not. But I keep on mixing this up. I'm sorry. Nesha is the reason why Nesha teaches me that 1 is good is because it has all 4. If you learn from Peretz Vazniya, then even right you would learn out that you would need at least 1 at least 3. You learn out that. Just like over there, it's no good. It doesn't have. At least you need 1. So also over here, you would need at least 1. You would need at least 1. That doesn't make any sense. What I just said. Machama. If you learn, Peretz Vazniya has 3 of the simanim, right? It has 3 simani. Tamei only has 1 simani tyra. You're telling me the reason why that 1 is good is because we don't learn from Peretz Vazniya, because we learn from Nesher. Guys, the reason why 1 is good is because we learn from Nesher. If we learn from Peretz Vazniya, 1 wouldn't be good. You need at least 2. Yeah? You need at least 2. Good. So now, Fred the Gemara, how could you learn from Peretz Vazniya? It's Shnei Ksuv Mabayim Kechad Leim Lamdim. When you have 2 things that teach me the same thing, we can't learn it out. So let's see the kasha. El Nesher the less they klal. Who the seichel? It doesn't have any. Had the islay chad achol. The time of the kasar rachman and Nesher. The reason why 1 works is because of Nesher. Halav hoki, if we didn't have Nesha, havamina leivim peres vazniya, that you need at least 2. 1 won't be good because peres vazniya only has 1. And the Gemara, what kind of kasha? Why would you say you learn that from peres vazniya? Have a peres vazniya shnei ksuma boin keachad, ushnei ksuma boin keachad ein melamdim, right? Shnei ksuma boin keachad ein melamdim. You can't go ahead and learn. So, Fred the Gemara, why do you need to tell me? How could you entertain the havamina that you could learn from Nesha that 1 would not be good? You need at least 2, right? You can't learn it out. Okay, now. Tell us. Let A, B, C, and D. Guys, look at me. A, B, C, and D are all 4. That's the Nesha. A, B, C, and D is the Nesha, right? Let's say the Peretz Vazniya, the havamina is they're both missing D, or they're both missing C, or they're both missing B, or they're both missing A. Let's say 1 is missing A and 1 is missing D, or 1 is missing B and 1 is missing A. In other words, they have what? They have 1 of the simanim that are good. We have Messiah that when the Peretz Vazniya Taka have 3 Tameya, but the 1 Tahira that they have is not the same. So it's not Shnei Ksuma Boin Kechad. Guys, you hear? Again, the 4, guys, you hear? Guys, the 4, you have 4 qualities that this bird has. The Peretz Vazniya has 1 of the positives, right? So the Fred Marakasha, let's look. How could you entertain learning out from them that 1 wouldn't be good, like the Peretz Vazniya is no good? I assume that they're the same thing, and Emalamdim, if they're the same, you can't learn from them. And for the Gemara, they're not the same. It's true. They have three simanim of tuma and one siman of tyra, but the simanim of tyra that they have are not the same. So therefore, it's not sheikh suvim. They're different. Good. We're good, guys. Okay. Gemiri, we have a Messiah, the Ika Bahai, Leka Bahai. Whatever the Tyra is in one of them is not in the other one. But the Ika Bahai, Leka Bahai, says Rashi, Dika Bahai, Leka Bahai, Oisei Simin of Tyra, Sheyeshne Bezeh, Eine Bezeh. Hilkach, Lav Shnei Kesum Abayim Keechad Ninu. It's not Shnei Kesum Abayim Keechad. The Mitzrach Tzrichi, because you need to tell me. Because of Paris, Havamina Bahai Simanu Hudloi Seichel. Oh, if you have that simone of Tyra, you don't eat. Al simone da azniya, but the simone of azniya, achol you would eat. Lahachi yitzrich azniya. Because of azniya, Paris leyasimine, v'kivin the chavayu tzricha, since they're both necessary, because they both have different simone Tyra, havamina neiluf minayu, the besimin echad leisachal, but one simin you should eat, therefore kos rachmanunesha. What's the teretz? So that's why that's the teretz, guys. That's the teretz. Okay, let's go over what we did so far this evening. Okay. The Mishnah asked the kasha. The Mishnah said that we know there's simonim of the behema chaya. We know the simonim of the fish. We know the simonim of the chagavim of grasshoppers. It says in the Torah. It doesn't say simonim. And they know the simonim. Fred the Gemara, what do you mean in simanim? There are simanim. You have a nesha, you have an eagle, it has 4 simanim. Right? It has 4 simanim. It doesn't have an extra 4, it doesn't have a zephic, niklaf, tyrus. Okay, 4. In order to be an oif tameya, you need to have all 4, like the nesha. You need all 4. If you have one thing that's positive, you're in the ballpark, you're tahar. How do you know that? Because the Torah listed 24 birds, and in those 24 birds, they each have some of the Simani Torah. Why do you have to list them? Guys, why do you have to list them? Because it must be that all over it's kosher. And that's why you had to tell me these are not kosher. The Gemara then said, why did you learn out from Nesher and be so expansive? Right? You could have limited it. You could have said 1 second. We started off maybe if it has 3, maybe it has 2, and maybe it has 1, and Paris Vasniya is 1. They only have 1, so let's learn from Paris Vasniya only 1. Now we need 2. Now, the Paris Vasniya is only 1, right? Says the Gemara, how could you entertain that? It's Shnei Ksuma Ban Kechadim Alamdim. If the Torah wants to learn something, it only says it 1 time. In fact, it says twice. It's telling me you can't learn it. Says the Gemara, it's not Shnei Ksufim. Because that one siman Torah that they have is not the same. It's not the same. And therefore you had to list it separately. Tzricha, because you have to say dafka this siman, not that siman. Memela, right now we're holding very good. From Nesher, in order to be what? To be an Ov Tameh, you need 4. You need to be 4 for 4. Missing even one of them, you are good. Okay, that's what we're holding. V'ed Gemara Michti. Esrim va'arba oifes tameim have. There are 24 oifes tameim. Efsha dechad, it's not possible. The ikka behanach leka bahani. Pavle shnei ksuma b'im ke'echad. Guys, out of those 24, you had to figure, but it's really only 22 because it's Paris Vazniya. Right. You have to figure in those 22 other ones, there had to be one that had the same simani Torah of Paris Vazniya. And the male is Shnei Ksuvim, so why do you need Nesher? It's the same kasha, sort of. Right? We're going back to the same kasha. You're telling me Paris Vazniya is Shnei Ksuvim, but Paris and one of the other ones is Shnei Ksuvim, because they're going to have that siman. So therefore, how can you entertain that malamdim? Says the Gemara, and for the Gemara the following. Gemiri, we have the following Messiah. Esrim va'arba oifis tameim have, the arba simonim, and there's 4 simonim. Tilsa, hadra bekula, esrim, mehem, shloisha. Let me read that again. Va'arba oifis tameim hem. The arba simonim, the 4 simonim. Tilsa, hadra bekula, esrim, mehem, shloisha, and 20 of them have 3 of the simanim of Taira. The Treba Arev, the Arev only has 2. Chad beperetz v'chaz bazniya. The issa b'hai, lesser b'hai. So one of them, either the peretz bazniya has three of the same simani taira. However, only one either the peretz bazniya has the fourth siman. In other words, guys, there's one siman that is unique to the Peretz Vazniya. That, in other words, one siman of Taira. We don't know which one it is because we don't know. One of those simonim is only in the Peretz and not the Azniya, or in the Azniya and not the Peretz, but it's not in the other 20, so it's not Shnei Ksuvim. It's not in the other 22, so it's not Shnei Ksuvim. That's the Teretz. Let's see Rashi here. Tilsa, it's the first wide line. Tilsa Hadre Bekula. Hashloisha Chaysim Bekula. Three of them you found throughout. Klaimar. Kulon bein min sheyesh leishleisha dahainu esrim inayu, right? Whether it's the 20 that all three are found, bein oyer v'yesh beis that only has two, oisin beis me'elu shleisha is from those three. Hein v'ravi einoi be'echad mikol shleisha simanim hamenuyim hachayzim v'hem. And there's one, the fourth one that is not found upon any of those 22. V'chad me'hanach shleisha isya I persi bazniya, ravir yesh lebechaveiroi. So in other words, you have the simonim. One siman is only found even in the persi bazniya. So you have four simonim. Three are dominant. You find them in 20 of them. The oirev, you find two of them. The persi bazniya, you found one of them. And the other one, and that one that you find, is not found among any of the others. So it's never Shnei Ksuvim. It's never Shnei Ksuvim Ban Kecha. So, see, let's one more time. Gemiri Esrim Yaba Oifis Tameim Have, V'arba Simonim, Tilsa Hadre Bekuloi. Three are found they go Hadre Bekuloi, all the 24. Esrim Mehem Shleisha Shleisha, 20 of them have three, Simani Taira. Trey ba'orev, the waving has two. Chad beperes chad be'azniya, and the other two are found in the peres be'azniya. The issue behind less behind, and the one that's found in one is not found in the other. Samad the tema leilef minei, right? Therefore, I would say, since it's not shnei kesuvim, let's learn from peres be'azniya that if you need at least two simani taira, but if you only have one, like the peres be'azniya, you'll be puzzle. It'll be treif. Again. If you're learning from Peretz Vazniya, fellas, then one wouldn't be good because the Peretz Vazniya only has one. Peretz Vazniya only has one, right? Yeah. Peretz Vazniya only has one. So if you're learning from Peretz Vazniya, and therefore you wouldn't learn from Nesher. You can't stay at Shnei Kesuvim because it's not Shnei Kesuvim based upon the mathematics that we just did, right? Because Rachman and Nesher, the less they klal, hu the less soichel, ha'ikar the less they chad achel. Again. The problem is that we don't know any of these things. We don't know any of these things. Guys, just turn the page, Samech Beis on the base. Take a look at the before the last thin line. The last thin line of Rashi, guys. The last thin line of Rashi, Samech Beis on the base. V'einoif necha lanu el b'mesairis. Oif shemasu lanu avoseinu b'tahar. Ushaloi masulanu yesh lochosh. We have to chayish in those 24. U'mesayris yesh lanu lismich kedam lekaman shayif tar and nechal b'mesayris. That's what you got to know. That's the only way you could eat it. Everyone, of course, they knew them. Of course, they knew them. Hesh, we did the Sichas Chulin. Forget Moshe Rabbeinu. Until they went into Gullus, they knew them. Until they went into, they knew them. We said the Sichas Chulin. That when they Gullus, then it became. That's when we lost it. I mean, it's been lost for, you're talking 2,000 years. It's been lost for a long time. We don't. Again, there's the whole shiloh with Turkey. How can you eat Turkey? There's no Messiah in Turkey. What? Football's not a het to baruch. Football's not a het to eat turkey. We have a resident Paisik over here.
Only on Thanksgiving.
What?
Why do we eat turkey?
I don't know. It's not pashut. It's not, I don't know. I remember the shaila. I know there's a shaila about it. It's because it's indigenous to America, and we didn't grow. It doesn't exist anyplace else. It could be there are birds in Europe that are very similar that it did eat, and therefore I think that's the heta. The birds in Europe that similarly ate that ate over here. But again, you see the problem with birds. You see, it's in other words, on one hand, it's a tremendous kula. On one hand, it's a tremendous variety.
good, right.
But because of those 24, right, you got the tsaris. It's fascinating. And we have tremendous chumrah. Even the duck, this you can't eat any duck. You can't eat duck, right? Yeah, you have to eat a certain duck, right? Like that'd be Lenny, a lake house duck.
Great. Just what I need, more flashbacks.
Listen, you saw them win twice. They owe you nothing. Okay. Anyway, who this? Let's just finish the lashon. Nesha. So therefore, you can't. You might think that what you can learn that from Paris Vasniya, right? Nesha the less they klal who the less seichel. It the less they chal achol. Furthermore, therefore, elatoyrin the kasser Rahman lamali. Okay, guys, very geschmack. What did you just told me? You just told me that if you have one of the simane taira, you can eat. A Torah is all four. So why do you have to tell me? Notice we're learning out. We began the Gemara. Go back to the beginning of Daf, guys. Samach Aleph Amid Aleph. Maneshem Yuchad Shein Liyatzur Yisera. Af Kol Kaitz V'Tamei. Toirin Sheish Liyatzur Yisera V'Sefik V'Kurkim V'Niklaf Vein Darsim V'Archlan Toirin. Af Kol Kaitz V'Tamei. Why do I need to learn from Toirin? Once I know from Nesher, right? Why do we have to mention Toirin at all? And for the Gemara, Amar Rav Look Barcham L'Karbon. I need it for a carbon. That what? Only to teach me that for a carbon only tar ben ayina, right? The tar that you learn, you need it to teach me for kachim. You have to teach me what that the tar is good.